Hey everybody, this is Story Dude here, your new host Francis. Piece of meat, they needed to read all these videos here, and we've got some great stuff. I cheated a little bit and looked ahead, and we've got some quite saucy subjects. So without further ado, let's dive right in and see what the internet is talking about today. My boyfriend said he expects regular threesomes from now on, as opposed to what? All right. Me and my boyfriend were out last night drinking. He got more drunk than he had gotten in a while, and by the end of the night, he was pestering me nonstop about bringing someone home with us. I was so confused because we had never discussed having threesomes and I couldn't tell what he was trying to do. We went back together to my apartment alone at the end of the night, like we always do, and just went to bed. This morning, we went out for breakfast, and I decided to bring the situation up again because, one, he was so drunk last night that I honestly don't know if he remembers doing this, and two, I'm still feeling really upset because it feels like he was trying to cheat on me while in my presence last night. What's unclear here is I don't, it sounds like he was just thinking about the idea. It sounds like he didn't even have like a, I hate to use the word target, but you know what I mean. Was there another person that he had in mind at that specific moment, or was he just drunkenly babbling about wanting to, pork two people after drinking all that beer? Anyway, the second I tell him what happened last night, he almost looked relieved and told me he's been meaning to discuss this with me. For some context, he and I have been dating for a little over 3 months now, and we used to have sex a good amount, but it's dwindled down the last month or so. Ay, ay, ay. 5 months ago, he was dating another girl for about 4 months. He told me in this relationship they almost only had threesomes. The relationship started out just them two having sex, and he made it sound like after the second or third time of them having sex, his girlfriend started bringing in other girls to the bedroom. Nah, I'm calling BS. That didn't happen. If he's begging you for threesomes, he's not the kind of dude who's just like yeah. Anyway, she let's see. Oh, she would find them on Tinder, scope them out, find a day for them all to meet, and do the deed. Wow, it's such a fun fantasy world he was living in, huh? He said that he's gotten so used to having two girls at once that having sex with just one person has gotten boring for him. He has told me that he was just waiting till our relationship was at the place it could be opened up to others. And I asked him how often he had these threesomes, and he said every weekend. He also said his ex would turn down any advances when they were alone, so they pretty much only had threesomes. Okay, so she would refuse to have sex with the boyfriend until they had time to screen the Tinder toddies and arrange these meetings. Okay. I'm not super experienced in relationships, but none of this sounds normal to me. None of this sounds real to me. I also am not attracted to women like that. So him just expecting us to have all these threesomes now makes me feel super uncomfortable. What I think you should do is you should say, yes, I'm down. One time it'll be with two girls, the other time it'll be with another dude, and see how he reacts. I could really use some advice. Well, I think I just gave you some great advice, but I'm sure people in the community will have better better ideas than I do. Everything has been going perfect with this guy, and this just feels like a huge bomb, and now I feel all over the place. Is this a big enough reason to break up with somebody over? Or am I just being insecure? He pretty much told me having sex with just me isn't doing it for him anymore. I also feel like it's really weird that his ex was doing so. So I kind of want advice on their relationship as well as my relationship with him now. Update. I did not want to see this man until I got my thoughts together, so I purposely went over while he was away to grab some things I need for work, and I asked his roommates about the situation. I know that's stupid, but I just needed any information. They, of course, had two different opinions on the ex. They're both guy roommates. One guy thought it was so hot how she always wanted threesomes and she was always making out with girls, and apparently she was just one of the guys. The other roommate said it was all pretty weird. She would regularly have girls over at their apartment. I guess I was wrong. Well, assuming these guys are telling the truth. She said she wanted more privacy because she had a roommate, so she chooses to go to be in the presence of three other guys. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't think I really followed that. Apparently, she was also highly religious, so I'm starting to think she was just closeted and used this plan to still sleep with women. I'm definitely breaking up with my soon to be ex, but I also want to talk about this with him first because I really don't see him finding many other girls like this. And the closest thing he'd get is forming an open poly relationship with someone, but that would still involve having sex with just your one partner from time to time. From what I've heard about her in the past and what I collected today, this woman sounds like a lesbian, not even bisexual. Apparently, there was a lot of drama with other girls in the friend group not liking the sex because she would be really cold to him while being so warm to all his female friends and other women. Wow, the plot really thickens. It seems like I was totally wrong about this. Lucky guy. She would tell him not to touch her one minute and be draped in the arms of a girl the next. Amazing stuff. He wants to be an exclusive relationship, but just with a lot of threesomes. He wants to be an exclusive relationship, but just with a lot of threesomes, as he phrased it. But I think his ex genuinely just wanted to sleep with women, but used him as the middleman and cover up. I genuinely do not know how to have a conversation like this, but I appreciate everyone's help. Final update you have all been waiting for. I went over tonight to talk. I told him that I had opened up to the idea of having threesomes. His jaw dropped and turned into a smile, and he said he was very impressed with my attitude and openness. I agreed with him and said, I love this new page of honesty we have in our relationship. And then I let him know I'm going to have my Tinder setting set to men while I get comfortable with threesomes in general, and then we can bring in women later. Oh, awesome. Yes, this is what I suggested. His smile quickly turned angry as he started calling me disgusting and asked me what I think of him. And I asked him what the problem is, and he said sleeping with a guy would be disgusting. Trying so hard to keep a slick smile off my face, I asked him why, and he said because I'm obviously straight. WTF. This is wild stuff, man. And I just looked at him and said, yeah, so am I. He just stared at me for a second, so I decided to add, but I don't think your ex is. He started getting so defensive and yelling louder, asking me what the fuck I'm talking about and all that. I was explaining what I found out today and what I think of it all. At this point, his roommate was in the kitchen making a hot dog. I don't know why, but that's a really funny extra detail. He's making a hot dog, so he was in there for like 3 minutes max. In that 3 minutes, though, I finally tell my ex, it's okay to admit your relationship probably wasn't normal. However, it's pretty common for people to date someone closeted. He screams at me that his ex wasn't gay and to stop suggesting that. His roommate then mutters so casually while making his hot dog, oh yeah, homegirl was gay. A lesbian for sure. I'm trying so hard not to laugh at this point. Me too. My ex told him to stay the F out of this, and he said, I can't. You're screaming at her loud enough for probably the neighbors to hear, which isn't cool, and she's a great woman, so if you don't want to be monogamous with her, and then there's this someone who definitely would want that, just let it go. What? My ex then replies, what, you want her? Go ahead. She'll just do the same thing and accuse you of being gay in a few months. At this point, I couldn't contain myself and I started laughing so hard. It genuinely felt like we were in a scene from The Office at that point. While laughing and trying to figure out where this came from, I tried to say that no one was accusing him of being gay, but my ex did not see the same humor I did and just told me to get the F out before I could finish my sentence. So I did, smiley face. I hope that counted as our breakup. Yeah, you're awesome. I do not want to hear from him again. He is so immature and clearly has his own internal conflicts he needs to sort out for himself. This day has been a roller coaster. This post has been a roller coaster, indeed. It went from the most sleepless, heartbreaking night and morning into a humorous story that will be nice to tell later. I'm glad I found out now and not later down the road because luckily I feel detached enough to not be worried about it. You have all been a great help, and if there is an update, I will give it, but I think that's the end of the story. Ah, that's great. Let's see what these comments have to say. Tell him you expect him to. Oh, sorry. Tell him you expect him not to contact you now and that it's over. Unless you are particularly interested in polyamory, this is not the guy for you, and you are wasting time here. This guy can't run a monogamous relationship. So if you are monogamous, this is your sign to bail. You could. 1. Tell him no, we will not be having threesomes together. I'm only looking for a monogamous relationship. 2. Tell him, oh, good. I've been looking for threesomes too. I'll find a hot guy, and the two of you can make me feel good all night long and make out with each other while I watch. I've been wanting to watch you do the thing with a guy for a long time. Nice. Tell him, sorry, option 3. Tell him you are welcome to have threesomes, foursomes, or five sums with anyone else you want without me, but you will be looking for a new girlfriend. Mm-hmm. That's I think the best advice so far. He's lying and not even a good liar. Finding unicorn women to come sleep with your boyfriend is difficult, let alone on a regular basis. The rest is also irrational, but the first part can't be factual. Yeah, this was my initial first impression that this guy was just lying about his ex. Maybe did he convince his roommates to kind of embellish the story a little bit? I'm still leaning in that direction, but nonetheless, I think the way she solved the story is excellent, and I couldn't be happier today. What a great time to be alive. It doesn't sound like you're compatible. Yeah. And it sounds like his ex was more into women than into him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, you're sexually monogamous. He isn't. He wants to mess around with other people, and he's blunt about it. If his desire for threesomes is a deal breaker for you, end the relationship, or you'll probably end up finding him in bed with other people. Ah, it's gonna be hard to top that one, but let's see. Let's see what this next post is about. My husband said to me, "Other women don't gain weight like me." Sorry, what? Oth- My husband said to me, "Other women don't gain weight like that when they have a baby." Oh man, you. I'm surprised this is not in. Am I the a hole? Because you definitely are, man. You messed up so bad. But anyway, let's dive into the story and see if there are any redeeming factors at play here. Trying to give as much context as I can so that everything is clear, man. You better, because I don't think any amount of context can save you now. I. Oh, wow, I misunderstood that. This is a post from the person who received the comment. This is the post from the woman whose husband told her. Oh, okay. Still unforgivable. Let's see. Where are we? La, la, la. I have been with my husband for over 3 years. The child I was pregnant with in this story is our only child, and we have no other children. When I was 8 months pregnant, my husband made a comment about my weight and how when I have the baby, he wants us to focus on getting back in shape. Fair enough. I was very motivated to get back in the gym as soon as possible because I'd gained about 65 pounds during pregnancy. About 3 to 4 weeks postpartum, he makes a comment that we need to get in the gym and that I don't need to let myself go. Ay, ay, ay. This upset me deeply because he hasn't said one nice or positive thing about my birth experience, and still hasn't to this day. Just negative things about how I looked. Keep in mind that I wasn't cleared to exercise until 6 weeks after postpartum. He said something hurtful about 2 months after I gave birth, and when I told him it hurt my feelings, he said he was mostly joking and that he shouldn't have to change the things he says to keep from hurting my feelings. Oh, it's the classic, say terrible things and then pretend like you're joking. I'm sorry, OP, but your husband sounds like garbage. I. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Unless something is necessary or someone asked you for your opinion on their looks, it is never okay to say something hurtful, in my opinion. Lastly, yesterday I wanted to have a conversation with him about some things that had been bothering me. I touched on a few topics without going into depth because I know he doesn't like to have these conversations, understandably. What? Yeah, your husband doesn't like to talk about issues in your relationship. That's like the second huge red flag I'm seeing here. I told him that his comments about my appearance were the hardest thing for me to deal with since we've been married because my weight and appearance was never something I was insecure about. I wasn't insecure about it now either until he brought it up multiple times. I told him that it was hard for me to feel like he didn't think I was attractive, especially since my physical changes were due to having given birth to our child. Among some other nasty things he said to me, the last comment he made was, "Other women don't gain weight like that when they have a baby." I mean, some women don't, but a lot of others do. And gosh, I just can't get over how terrible this guy sounds. The last thing I want to mention is that I've lost about 35 pounds since giving birth. And my husband, over the course of our relationship, has gained about 25 pounds. Yeah, I'm sure he's a super chonker, just laying back and expecting you to be like super hot and stuff. Ah, this hasn't bothered me and still doesn't. It's not important to me because we are both still healthy people. But it hurts me that he's put so much emphasis on my weight, among other things. What should I do? It's eating me up, and he doesn't think he said anything wrong. Marriage counseling. Or, yeah, I don't want to say divorce. That's crazy. But he definitely sounds like he's a highly insensitive person. TLDR, 4 months after giving birth and losing 35 pounds thereafter, my husband continues to make comments about my appearance and most recently said other women don't gain weight like that when they have a baby. Oh boy. I just, I hope no one tells you to divorce him because I think that is a little bit overkill, but that's like kind of my gut reaction to here. Full offense, your husband is a moron. Yes. Your husband is an effing prick. You created human life. Screw this man. Do not put up with his BS. He's a bully and an a-hole. You deserve so much better, and I think the example your child is going to grow up with is far from ideal. That's a good point. I didn't think about the poor baby growing up with a father like that. That's pretty rough. Other husbands aren't totally a-holes like that when they have a wife. True that. Your husband is a douche. My wife gained weight with our firstborn, and I didn't give a single F. I love every millimeter of that woman's body, and I could literally never have enough of it. And I can totally relate to that. It's not... Hey, you gotta... Your husband really misses the point, I guess. It's too bad. I feel sorry for him. Tell him to give birth to your next child. That way you won't have to gain any weight, and he can be the one controlling the baby's weight. The effing audacity of this man and the bull that some of y'all put up with is crazy. It is crazy. You know, sometimes I just don't know what to say. And that's probably good because it's the end of the video. So, on that note, I want to wish all of you a great day. And I'll see you again soon for some more Reddit and other stories and blah, 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 blah. Gotta get a quip while I'm ahead. Take care, everybody.